March marks the occasion of Women's History Month. This year again, women from all around the globe will celebrate women's achievements, while also calling out for more rights, equality and freedoms. Gender equality remains the main issue regarding women's rights. The United Nations Charter, adopted by world leaders in 1945, put equality and non-discrimination as fundamental principles. However, even though women's rights increased since then, 50-50 representation is not always guaranteed. One of the fields in which women are underrepresented is politics. Around the globe, there are 26 women serving as head of state or government. At that current rate, gender equality in the highest positions of power will not be reached for another 130 years, according to the UN Women data.
It has been more than a century since the first woman could vote in the UK. A lot of progress has occurred since then, tending to a more equal representation of women within the Houses of Parliament.
Nowadays, there are 225 women MPs in the House of Commons, elected at the 2019 general election. A 2021 report from the House of Commons stated they represented around 34% of all MPs, being a record high. However, objectives regarding gender inclusivity still need to be achieved. On March the 2nd, the Women and Equalities Committee published a report entitled Equality in the Heart of Democracy, a gender-sensitive House of Commons. It highlights the issues facing women MPs standing in the House of Commons and what needs to be put in place to ensure the inclusivity as equals to men. There are considerable variations in women's and minority ethnic representation in the House across the political parties.
The report explained that lack of equal representation undermines our democracy. In fact, a government needs to represent the people that elected them. Therefore, more diversity and ethnicity represented within the House of Parliament can build a trusting relationship.
The last few years have seen an uprising amount of revelations about bullying, harassment and sexual misconduct, particularly affecting women at the hands of men within the Houses of Parliament.
Inappropriate behaviours are undergoing legislation.
However, the committee remains doubtful about the government's current legislative proposals will be sufficient given the sheer scale and severity of the problem.
The report insists on the fact that misogyny must not be accepted as an inevitable facet of a woman's life in politics. Gender equality is the next challenge for the House of Commons and British institutions. The Women and Equalities Committee is working relentlessly to condemn misogyny and abuse within that field. Further action must be taken to protect women MPs and political figures, as the committee warns the government by sending an alarming message.
Without such action, an entire generation of women could be deterred from entering Parliament.
Reporting from Westminster, Eloise Picard for GLDN.